Scott Van Pelt here on the Rich Eisen Show, and you just mentioned the tonnage of coverage that is potentially weighty for the fans to consume, with Coach K in his final four, and it's against UNC, and, the coverage can be significant. But that would only be a walk in the park if Tiger appears at the Masters at Augusta National the following week. Do you think that's possible, Scott Van Pelt?
Rich, I have gone from waving. Remember the waving my hand? Shut your mouth. Stop. Coming off stupid.
Yes.
I'm coming off stupid. You're wearing tuxedos to an interview for cleaning bathrooms. Sorry, I'm doing Step Brothers.
Yes.
I did dismiss that. It was not happening. There's no chance this is happening.
Right.
And now it's the Tuesday before the Masters week, and it's not happening. There's enough of a waft of the possibility in the air. And here's what I know is that I don't know. All right, I don't know if he can, but it certainly appears, Rich, that they're going to kick the tires on how he feels about it. And the thing about Augusta National, as has been mentioned so often, is it is the hilliest golf course that players compete on in major championships. And the man nearly lost a limb. And so you can roll your eyes about golfers on athletes, and that's fine. But I'll promise you this. Walking, when you play golf, do you walk or do you ride? I don't know a ton of people that walk, because at the end of it, you're like, man, that's more than you thought. Well, Augusta is a walk that taxes players in a different way. And so if he can do it, it wouldn't shock me if he tried. And a guy that I work with, whose name you'd know, and again, this is inside TV, but he's legendary in our business. His name's Mike McQuaid, and he's the guy I work for doing golf. And we were talking about it last night. I said, will we talk about anything else prior to Thursday morning? And he said, well, of course. But just the idea of Tiger on a range swinging a club that he's going to play Thursday morning, it'd be a lot for us to discuss, and it would be great for every other player, because then they could just very casually stroll down the middle of the fairway doing their work, and nobody be talking about him or paying attention to him, because just the idea that Woods was back giving it a go would be storyline A.
But you think wherever he is right now, he's sitting there thinking about it? You think that he's going through whatever physical paces he needs to? Yes.
I do. I've known him a long time, and I know that it's the old Arnold Palmer, right? Where if you're in the woods, but you kind of see that window between the trees, you're like, can fit it through there, maybe. Yeah. Well, hell, let's find out. I mean, and I don't know, using that analogy, I don't know if he's got a small window or if he feels like I got an opening here. Let's see. I mean, only he knows physically how he feels. But if I think he did an incredible job of just poking that balloon anytime he was asked, right? When they were out in your neck of the woods at Riviera, and he was on CBS with Jim Nantz, and he was talking about, well, look, I mean, it was just dismissive, entirely dismissive. Like, I haven't had a chance to practice. I mean, you can't go there and do this unless you can do A, B, C, and D, and I just haven't been able to do that. Well, if he's been able to do that between then and now, and he has, any shot of giving it a go. Here's the thing, Rich. He's won it, and he's allowed back as long as he's ambulatory and wants to compete. So it's not like he goes out and shoots a big number and doesn't get to come back. I mean, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? If he can do it. So I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into something crazy here, and maybe he doesn't. But it just, the fact that we're even having the conversation, I wouldn't have thought was possible a week ago, and now it's like there's enough chatter about it that I wonder.
Just to bring it all full circle, then, Scott, since you and I are professional, bringing it all full circle people.
Yeah, among the best, I think.
Well, you know what? I agree. So putting it all together, if UNC beats Duke and then cuts down the nets, and then Tiger reappears at Augusta after everything, then we know Stuart Scott is pulling some levers wherever he's sitting right now above us.
Yeah.
Then we know that would be a fact.
And I'll tap my chest and point my finger to the sky and say, "My man, we're thinking of you, as we often do, and we appreciate you."
Yes.
That would certainly indicate that he's got some swag.
He's got some sway. He's got some juice. We all know he does as we turn our pillow over to the cool side. So I'll tell you this story in letting you go. I don't know if I've ever told you this story. But Stuart, Scott, and I were at a Jimmy V golf tournament, the famed Jimmy V, the V Foundation charity, and there was the golf tournament down in Raleigh. And it was huge, man. Back in the day, late 90s, Michael Jordan would be there, and Charles Barkley, and all the college coaches would be there in Raleigh in the middle of the summer. So Stuart and I pull up. We're getting ready to play golf, and we're at the bag drop at the golf course. And who pulls up but Mike Krzyzewski, okay, in the car, and he drops off his bag at the bag drop, and we watch him maneuver his car to go back to the parking lot, and it was a K-turn. We watched him make a K-turn in his car, and Stuart and I looked at each other and we're like, did we just watch Coach K make a K-turn in his car? And it's similar to that SportsCenter commercial, like you and him watching Arnold Palmer making an Arnold Palmer. It literally was a real-life This Is SportsCenter commercial with Stuart and I watching that.
How is no one rolling tape? Because
it's before Twitter, before everything, you know.
The most iconic of those spots are just those. It's Arnold Palmer making iced tea and lemonade, and Stuart, there's nothing to say. You watch the man make a K-turn. Now, did Stuart go casually walk over and key the man's car?
No, I do believe one of the people he dropped off was Roy Williams, who Stuart would always tell, because he was with Kansas at the time, that he was at the wrong school. You know, he would tell Roy frequently that he needed to come home, which he eventually did, as we all know. But no, he did not. Stuart, Stu definitely loved Coach K and everything about it. But when it all came down to it, I think it was a Duke Carolina game that Stuart and I, when we were first paired together, we were on right after on like an 11 o'clock SportsCenter, and Dick Vitale mentioned us, hey, stick around for Rich and Stu. What a great team they are. And we looked at each other like, okay, we have arrived. And, you know,
right on.
Just to bring it all, together, Mike McQuaid, who you just mentioned, was the producer in the ear of Dan and Keith for The Big Show. And so we were trying to, be just as big as them or as significant as that team. And when we heard Dick say that, we kind of looked at each other like, okay, this is pretty cool.
That's that's such a great story, because Dick has that kind of thing. Where he was, not a kingmaker in the sense, but if he took note of who you were at a time before you became what you became, right? That's a little bit of, get your chest a little swollen and feel good about it. And then off you go and you do a show. And what fun it is to remember, right?
No doubt.
You did it. I was lucky enough to do it. Sit there with Stuart, following a Carolina Duke game, and now here comes the biggest one there's ever been. That's you did me a favor by reaching out, because I got a gigantic smile on my face thinking about my friend, and I appreciate that. It's great fun to remember.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.